Yeah. You ready to get ripped, shredded, and you don't care about the ramifications, and you don't care how it happens. This is the perfect podcast for you to watch. I'm throwing caution to the wind today. It's not about the years in your life, it's about the life in your years. We're gonna show y'all some extreme ways to get ripped and to build muscle, maybe even simultaneously. So you know what that means. Let's start the show. Hell yeah. I'm super excited about today's episode. Welcome. Victory Talk. Episode 207. Damn, we've been doing this shit. You know, this is the only podcast where we show you how to build your money, muscle, mindset. I am your host, Big Brandon Carter, King Keto, Gymnasium Jesus, the Southside Savior. And I'm not alone. I'm joined by the best podcast producer in the game. You know who it is.
Let's go.
The homie Nima, straight out of Iran. You know what it is. Come on, man.
207. Wow.
You know what I'm saying? You're the king. You're the king. Listen, man, you're the best podcast producer in the game. There's been a lot of producers. Movies. When it comes to movies, best producer who? Harvey Weinstein. Music, best producer P. Diddy. Now Nima following in the footsteps of those great men as the greatest podcast.
So
producer.
much
Let's
responsibility.
Go. Come on, man. Hey, man. Heavy is the head that holds the crown. All right. And we're also joined by Minovia. She is managing the super chats, kicking out all the haters. You come in here talking shit, you're gonna get banished, banned, exiled indefinitely. Right, so don't do that to yourself. Don't make it happen. Listen, we got a lot we want to cover today. I got a special guest who I'll introduce in a second. But before we do that, it's the webinar. You know, before we do that, we gotta go through our sponsors. Like these other podcasts, you know, they talking about. You see these other podcasts, man. They got sponsors of salt water, mattresses, motherfucking green drinks and shit. Nah, man, I'm sponsoring my own podcast. All right. So the sponsor for this episode is going to be a free training we're doing next Wednesday, 7 p.m. I'm going to show you exactly how to grow your online fitness business from scratch. Even if you don't have a big following, even if you're not certified, even if you don't have a lot of experience, I'm going to show you how to build your personal brand. I'm going to show you how to get clients online. And I'm going to show you how to actually train your clients online so they get great results. All right. It's a free training. I'm doing live. I'll be on there. I'll answer all your questions. We're going to have a good time. We're going to have fun. I'm going to give away some stuff. It's going to be amazing. All right. It's the first link in the description. Go ahead and click that right now. The next sponsor we have is a product that Nima and we've been working on this for quite some time. We've been working on this for a while, and it's called Thot Repellent. Thot Repellent is the easy to apply spray to keep the hose away, right? Because once you start watching the Victory Talk podcast, we're going to show you how to build your money, your muscle, and your mindset. Now, the only thing that can stop you is these hoes. A lot of great men that fell victim to some random thought, man. So what we did was we had Iranian scientists formulate this so it only affects the DNA of thots, hoes, sluts, skanks, skeezers, Jezebels, scallywags, and hood rats. Regular women, they'll be like, "Oh man, you smell delicious. What's that aroma? What's that fragrance?" And it'll be like, "Psst, baby, that's Thot Repellent," right? But if one of these thots try to get it next to you, it's gonna be like raid to them, right? They'll be impenetrable. They won't be able to get close to you. The thing is, we wanted to have it out by summer, but we didn't get enough super chats. We didn't get enough super chats. Oh, we didn't get enough super chats. Yeah. So the plan is to have it out by the back to school season, right? Back to school season. Because I know if you're like me, you're gonna be spraying this on your children before they go back to school. My son is about to start 3rd grade. Last thing I need, he on honor shit. Last thing I need is some Thot to knock him off his game. All right, so I'm gonna be spraying him down, this man, before these little Thots get to him. You know, you think they don't know his daddy is Brandon Carter? Thots, no, man, they can pick that shit up. So anyway, you're gonna need this for your children. Maybe even for your fathers. Like it makes a good Father's Day gift. You know what I'm saying? But then some of y'all, some of your moms are secret hoes. But whatever. It's not going to be out until the back to school season, as long as we get enough super chats. All right. So all your super chats go towards development of Thot Repellent. Before introducing my guest, we have a hero who already contributed to the fund. I think he needs to be acknowledged immediately.
We have JBN.
Yeah.
I just started my 6-month savings account. I got 1K in it. How much would you recommend to save up before I can put my money into investments? I
mean, bro, I really think you need to figure out what your monthly expenses is. Like how much money do you need to live each month? Times that by 6, and that's the number, right? So you got to start tracking your expenses so you can really understand that. You can use monarch.com, hook up all your accounts, see how much you're actually spending each month and what do you need to live, and then multiply that by 6, have that as savings, then you can start getting it in, all right? And then we got another one.
Hey, Brandon, what colognes would you recommend for daily, everyday use?
Thot Repellent, because it doesn't just smell good, it's also useful. It has a medicinal use where it will keep these hoes away. Now, until Thot Repellent comes out, you can go get Afternoon Swim by Louis Vuitton, right? Until then, but that's going to attract all women, right? It doesn't exclude Thots the way Thot Repellent does, right? So, good luck to you. All right, hey guys, we got a special guest this episode. All right, I know a lot of y'all follow me because y'all want to get ripped, you want to get shredded, put on muscle, burn fat, maybe even simultaneously. And you know, I told y'all over the last 10 years or so, regular ways to do it. You know, some of the stuff I said people think is extreme, but I was like, what if we turn it up a notch? Well, I had to bring on an expert, and that's why. But he's not going to just turn it up a notch. He's going to turn the knob up to 11 and rip the knob off, kick it down the street. All right. Let me introduce the big homie, Dr. Russ, the Peptide King. Let's go.
What's up, guys?
What's going on, man? Yo, he just got a new watch, man. Show him the new RM. Come on, man. Let's go.
You know, I'm humble, bro.
Yeah, man.
Like, hide that shit. Nah, you can't add that.
No, man. But, we applaud victory here, man.
Yeah.
We applaud victory here. All right. Listen, man. You specialize in. You're the Peptide King. Why they call you the Peptide King, Dr. Russ?
Peptide King, because I've been in hormones since I was about 2018. Obviously, more anti-aging, more medical oriented. So we do testosterone replacement therapy for men and women. We have natural protocols for that. Obviously, we do stem cells. Every peptide out there known to man, we do. So yeah, that's why they call me the Peptide King, though. Yeah, because I know about all that shit.
What is a peptide? Before we get into what the fuck is a peptide?
So if you want to keep it really short and sweet in layman's terms, it's just a short chain of amino acids.
Okay.
So kind of like when you take your glutamine in a sense, or leucine, isoleucine, valine, your branch chain amino acids, they're just amino acids. So they break down and they're like building blocks of protein.
Okay.
So in a sense, a peptide is just a short chain amino acids they put together. And when you inject it into the body, it basically turns on other things. So for instance, like a growth hormone peptide, it's not like real growth hormone, but it's a secretagogue. So it's going to turn on your pituitary gland in your brain where your growth hormone's produced, and it's going to start surging and spiking that. So you produce more of it, which is going to lead to, anti-aging, tighter skin, fat loss, muscle building. I mean, you name it. It's, sleep, recovery, all those are big benefits of like growth hormone peptides.
So that's one of them. But there's all types of different peptides.
Exactly.
There's one every month.
Yeah, there's a peptide for every application out there. I mean, you got GHK, copper, which helps you with your skin, kills free radicals, can help fight cancer. We got a Pitholon. A Pitholon is huge. It literally lengthens your telomere. So it lengthens your actual lifespan. You can get a test done for that. You can get a telomere test, go, oh shit, mine's this long. I'm gonna die at 65. You can take a Pitholon for, say, a set amount of time, and then you could go back and get that test done and go, oh, shit, now it says I'm going to live to 75. I just put 10 years on my life. You got peptides like that. You got MOTS-C. MOTS-C is one that helps increase insulin sensitivity. And for all you guys out there in layman's terms, what that means is, when you eat carbohydrates, if you're already kind of fat and overweight, your body doesn't react to the food and it just stores it directly on the gut. Well, if your insulin sensitivity is elevated, then you'll actually utilize those carbohydrates. Insulin will release into the bloodstream, and then use that for fuel and building muscle and burning fat, and it enhances your metabolism. So MOTS-C is it's like a low grade GLP-1, and a GLP-1 that most people don't know out there, the GIPs, those are all the rage right now. Ozempic, Mounjaro, the ones that all these people are using for this crazy fat loss. You know? So MOTS-C is like the baby brother of that. That's not quite as unhealthy. Amazing peptide.
Let's start there. Tell me about Ozempic. What are the pros, the cons, the benefits? Because people ask me about Ozempic all the time, but I'm not familiar with it, but you are.
Yeah, and let's keep it simple. A lot of the people out there just look at one thing. They want to lose weight. They listen to anybody, and it's all the rage. Look, everybody's taking it now. But you got negative side effects to everything you do. So again, in my personal opinion, the Ozempic, let's say me as a bodybuilder, big guy, I did want to get cut up. It's not going to be my first choice of drug to lose weight. But I would say if I was going to do another competition and I'm the last 6-8 weeks and I'm just eating my damn hands off, like I can't control it because I'm getting super low calories, no carbs, Ozempic could be that drug for me where I could microdose it daily and it would just help me curb my appetite so I can actually sleep at night. It actually does have good benefits that it reduces kind of inflammation and swelling in the body. So it is kind of, in a sense, it has good benefits, and obviously it helps with weight loss too.
So for what I understand, the only way it really helps with weight loss, it just makes you less hungry. Is that the only thing it does?
In layman's terms, yeah. I mean, the biggest thing is that it just suppresses the appetite big time, based on your dosage, obviously, things like that. Now, again, there are that 1% of the population out there too that like a GLP-1 or the GLP-1 mixed with a GIP.
What's like the GLP-1?
So the GLP-1 is like the Ozempic.
That's what Ozempic is.
Exactly. And then you have like its big brother, which they call tirzepatide, which is a GLP-1 and a GIP. So they just hit different receptors and different things. We won't get into like the scientific portion because no one's going to really understand that. But it's like, just think of like it being twice as strong as the other one. Then there's like retatrutide, which is like a 3-in-1. So it's super, super powerful.
So Ozempic's not even the strongest shit.
Like your semaglutide, which is kind of the street name, layman's terms that most people understand, or Ozempic. That's your most basic one. Then you got tirzepatide, and then you have like retatrutide. So they got 3 different ones now. But yeah, the main things it's going to do is suppress the appetite. But that 1% of the population, a lot of people don't know, won't react to it at all. Like,
oh, really?
Yeah. Like we've had patients, obviously I can't say who, whatever, et cetera, but we've had patients come in and they do great on the semaglutide or Ozempic. They lose 15, 20 pounds in however long. And then they'll want to switch and get something stronger. Try tirzepatide, does nothing for them. So just so you guys out there know, again, it's just like anything else. Some people react well, some people don't react to things.
Now I heard that people also lose a lot of muscle when they take Ozempic.
Exactly. So that's kind of that, thing that people don't want to talk about. So I guess a lot of the studies out there, and I know we'll put one up later, they say that if you, the true study is either one of those drugs, you take it for 52 weeks, you can lose about 15% body mass. And that's how they word it, body mass. So you're looking at overall weight is what your body mass is, but they're not saying, okay, you're going to lose, let's say you're 300 pounds and you want to lose 60 pounds, you probably lose 60 pounds in a year. But how much of that was muscle? How much of that was fat? And how much of that was water? With Ozempic, that's the one back, the thing they don't tell you about. It's the negative side. You're going to really lose mainly muscle.
So when you take
that's
Ozempic,
what the study showed.
You lose mostly muscle when you take Ozempic.
That's what the study showed.
Well, like some people who are on Ozempic, they look kind of funny.
Almost, I'm calling them like they're like shriveled up prunes.
Yeah,
bro.
they say that something called the Ozempic face because you lose all the muscle in their face.
Yeah, because you're losing muscle. You're not really losing the fat, so the skin gets saggy and loose, and the tone changes. So, but again, we'll touch on it later, but I'll hop into it. There's an awesome drug and a huge study they came out with that looks very promising. They're doing it with rats right now. It's a drug called follistatin, or I say drug, it's another peptide, but it's a protein based. You can take that with, these GLP-1s, GIPs, and you can actually lose fat with it and put on muscle. So they're synergistic together. Incredible. So this is something new coming out. It's almost like they're creating all these designer drugs, anabolics and stuff. We're going to get into that later. Is almost going out the window. It's like old school shit. We're starting to just completely get away from that here in the next, I'd say 2-3 years. Anabolics, testosterone, like if you're bodybuilder, testosterone, Masteron, all the derivatives of testosterone, those are going to be a thing of the past. We're going to have something else. We're not even going to use that shit anymore. It's just going to be obsolete because there's too many negative side effects. Yeah, that's the direction they're going with all these new designer drugs and peptides.
Before we talk about that, let's just stick on Ozempic just for a minute. Who is Ozempic for and who's it not for?
I mean, that's not something I can directly answer. As a doctor, but I mean, in my personal opinion, I think it can be for everybody, but like you said, it's the application of it. So like, it's not something that I want to take or I've ever thought about taking. But like I said, if I did a bodybuilding show, I would use it to suppress my appetite a little bit in a very, very a big time calorie deficit. Really more for me not to lose weight or lose fat, just to suppress my appetite. Okay. Because the thing is, if I'm bodybuilding, it's a great drug to utilize for its purpose for me. I'm only and I'm the muscle, even if I use some of the semaglutide, but like public people, they're about their normal life, they're taking this stuff and
put the camera on him, please. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
They're stuff, and like I said, they're not exercising, they're using it as a crutch to try to lose weight, and they're not eating protein and the proper macronutrients that they need. So then that's why they're losing this massive amount of, because it's gonna, anything else. Without Ozempic, but it's like that tenfold because the Ozempic's taking appetite. You don't want to eat anything, so you're basically just going into starvation mode. And then obviously when you come off this stuff, it's really bad because then you go back to eating 3 times as much you were before, and you're going to blow back up, lots of inflammation. Because these people, what I say is, they have a mouth problem. They can't control their damn mouths. They have no discipline. You know what I mean? Yeah. You got to have discipline.
Oh, so theoretically, if you took Ozempic, but you made sure you hit your protein intake,
exactly,
right, and you make sure you at least hit a minimum amount of calories, would
you, in my personal opinion, you would keep your muscle mass, and those statistics of just 50, the 52 weeks and 15% body mass, I think would look like a whole different story. Now, again, they'd have to do a research clinical trial and all that to determine it, which I think would be a good one. But yeah, I believe that,
got it.
And again, I got a lot of friends that take it, for bodybuilding shows, and they don't lose muscle mass because they're micro dosing it, very small dose, just enough to control the appetite, because it does help with sleep.
Helps you with sleep.
Helps sleep, inflammation. Now, the other negative drawback of Ozempic, taking it long term, it does, in a sense, it can weaken your bone, cortical bone. It can cause osteoporosis.
Oh, shit.
Just like one of the other, know about anastrozole or a Remedex, it's an estrogen blocker. Same thing. Over time, damages your cortical bone. It also has a really negative side effect on your cholesterol level. So it increases your, it'll increase your LDL and it'll decrease your HDL. So again, if you guys out there don't know, HDL is like your good cholesterol. That's the one that protects your heart. And that cholesterol that mainly comes from the foods you eat, in a sense, in layman's terms. So yeah, anastrozole or Remedex, which blocks estrogen, which is used in male testosterone replacement therapy with your testosterone, you see all these regular doctors giving 2 whole pills a week, which is 2 milligrams, way too much. It's causing a lot of negative side effects. It's not really one-off wellness program for each person. That's where TRT can also get a bad rap too, because the docs are just, here's your 200 milligram testosterone, shoot it once a week with a big IM needle, and then here, take your whole pill of anastrozole on Monday and Friday, and give the same shit to everybody. But it doesn't. That's not how it's supposed to be. Everyone's hormones are different. It depends on how much, like, let's say, for instance, your testosterone. If you're taking a standard TRT dose, 200 milligrams, you're breaking it up into 2 shots a week. And your testosterone's right at the maximum of normal, 1,000. And let's say you're doing your daily workouts, but you're only doing them 4 days a week. Your handstand push-ups, all this shit you normally do, Brandon. But then you up it to, you go, I'm ready to up the ante. Let's fucking train 7 days a week. And you start doing that same routine 7 days, your testosterone's not going to be 1,000 anymore. You're going to burn through it. Just like if you floor your car, you're going to burn through more gas.
Really?
Your testosterone total is now going to end up going down to, say, 650, 700, just, in layman's terms to kind of explain the example. That's what'll happen. And you're going to have to bump your dose up. So that's why hormones and all these things with these medical doctors, it's not a one size fits all. Everything has to be custom built per patient, and you have to keep a hold on it. Like, so at our clinic, we do labs 4 times a year. You get labs at the beginning. We put you on your program. You get labs, about 10 weeks later. We adjust your dosages to hone it in to what's good, because you've been on the stuff for 2 months, constant nice routine we've given you. So we get a nice baseline, then we make an adjustment to hone it in 100%. And as long as you don't make lifestyle changes or exercise changes, you're good. And we normally kind of check up on that about 6 months later. And then if you're still good, we keep it there. If you need a little tweak, because let's say you came in and said, hey, doc, I'm working out 2 more days a week. I'm feeling freaking awesome. We're going, okay, we do your labs. Probably going to need to up your dose a little bit. And then say in the wintertime, which there's not one, but let's say you live somewhere where it's cold, happen. You're going to go lazier. You're not going to want to go to the gym. You're going to hibernate, back your dose down, because you're not going to burn through it. And if you keep taking the same dose, that's when you start getting negative side effects, higher cholesterol, higher blood pressure, because your levels are going to go, they're going to exceed where they should be, because where we had them perfect at the top at 1,000, you're going to stop working out. Now the testosterone is going to stay in your blood, and your levels are going to rise because you're not burning it off.
I never thought about it.
Does it make sense? Yeah. It's a receptor. It binds to your receptors. The different drugs do different things. We'll get into that too. There's protein, mediated drugs that get broken down by proteins, and then there's receptors where it's almost like a lock and a key. So, every drug's different.
Okay. All right. Listen, speaking of drugs, let's say I wanted to burn. Let's say there's a guy. He wants to get as ripped as possible. What the ramifications are? You know what? Hold that question.
We're talking about Wolverine movie ripped, huh? It's like CGI shit.
You know what? I got a different question. Hold on to that one. Right. But check this out. Why are peptides better than anabolic steroids? Or are they?
Yeah, so that's a loaded question. You know what I mean? And we're still doing a lot of research on peptides. They're still newer. I've been in the game. I've known about peptides since probably 2014. So I've been exposed to them for 10 years. I could walk down South Beach right now, even into one of the gyms. Let's say there's 100 people in there. I could ask all 100 of them to do a survey. Hey, do you know what this peptides is? 80% of them still don't really know what peptides are. So they're still, even though they're not new, people, it's just now starting to kind of hit mainstream. And it's still only in these big cities like Miami or California, where everybody's fit and in shape. A lot of these people up north, New York, Chicago, they don't even know what fucking peptides. They don't even know what peptides are. They're like, what? BPC, what is that?
Right.
So, but yeah, it's starting to catch on though. It's becoming mainstream a lot more. But sorry, I got a little off track. What was the question? You want to get shredded, right?
No. We're gonna come back to that.
Okay.
Why are they better?
Okay. Why are they better
than anabolics or steroids?
Yeah. So in my personal opinion now, and my experience, I've been taking them for probably about 10 years. What I've seen with me is, my blood markers on my redraw, my blood works, vast improvements on the peptides versus anabolics. And yes, guys, I was younger. I've competed in bodybuilding. I've done Alex,
Yeah.
you know, I try to stick to more TRT now, be healthy and do peptides, things like that, because I mean, it's unhealthy off your life for sure. But like you said, some people don't care about that. Back then, I didn't care. 100 pounds, I want to stomp the curb and crack the sidewalk, bro. You know what I mean? Now I'm like, hey, I'll stay 240, 250, lean, shredded, and I'm happy with that. I don't need to be talking, bending over to tie my shoes, and I'm out of breath.
15, and I built it. You know, extra weight.
Waking up twice at night to eat and shit.
Wow.
I mean, talking 7,000 calories, you know.
Okay.
7 meals, 1,000 calories each.
But now, that's when you were on what
days, you know, probably stacks was probably testosterone. What a lot of guys don't realize is, you know, to get really good results, a lot of these guys think, oh, I'm just going to take 1,000 milligrams of test. I see it all the time. And I'm like, dude, you can't absorb that much. So you're just going to get a shit ton of side effects. And it's really not even going to help you looking to put on. So in less is more, but create stacks and programs. For me, it'd be like, hey, okay, let me just do 300 milligrams of test. 200 is TRT. Let me just do 100 milligrams more. My testosterone is going to be 2,000, which is still double the normal limit. That's plenty. You know what I mean? And again, I see guys out here taking 1,000, 1,400 milligrams of test a week. I'm like, dude, that's 6x what I'm taking. They'll get their blood work done. And I'm like, bro, your total test level right now is 7,000. Dallas McCarver, when he passed away, you know, they did all his stuff. If people know who he was, huge bodybuilder, he was going to Olympia. And his testosterone level when he passed away, it was 50,000 or something like that in his bloodstream. So again, who knows how much he was doing? But again, I'm just like, well, you know, I'm not going to say that's what killed him, but I mean, I know in my opinion, I mean, it's just
sound like it would help.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, that's not going to help you, I don't think. Now, again, like we talk about, you know, sometimes these guys, they're pushing limits. They want to be the best in the world. But even that's kind of crazy. You know, I mean, you could go 5 times the normal limit. If you can't pack on 20, 25 pounds in a year doing that, something's wrong. It's really more the food. But yeah, peptides to me are better because from what I've seen, there's less side effects. Again, we don't know like fully long term, but I know as far as just looking at statistics, which to me is the data and the blood work, you know, all my markers were much more improved on, you know, taking 9 or 10 different peptides at a time and then just doing my TRT dose, a little over TRT dose, like 250. You know, could up that for sure. If I do another show, my test 100. You know, because I'm getting on stage with these guys that are doing 1,000 milligrams. And if you want to compete, like you said, you want to compete with the big dogs, you got to be taking the shit they're taking. You're just not going to win. That's just what it is. You got to be willing to sacrifice if you want to be these top dogs. You want to be a pro.
If that's what you want.
Exactly.
So peptides are safer. Are they as effective?
In my opinion, when you do the right stacks, 100%. So right now, let's say I want to get lean, pack muscle on. I mean, I've probably put on 6-7 pounds of solid muscle in the last 4 months. So literally, over, you know, about 1.5 pounds a month, dude.
And that's intense, especially because you're how old are you?
38. I'll be 39 in July. Yeah, I can't even keep up with this shit.
30,
I'm getting old, bro.
39. Yeah, and you've been training for a long time. That's probably the
I've been training since I was 17. Seriously, I competed my first show in 2014.
Oh wow. All right.
So about 11 years ago when I started competing, and I did 4 shows after that. I kind of hung it up. I almost did one about 2 years ago. Got about 4 weeks out, and I'm like, do I really want to go these last 4 weeks? So like you said, that's where you're getting really freaking hungry. You want to kill everybody. And I'm just like, this is going to start affecting my money and my business. It's not worth it for a plastic trophy. I'm not going to be, you know, Ronnie Coleman or Jay Cutler or some 300-pound monster and win the Olympia. So I'm like, it's not worth it anymore. But it's super fun for sure.
Yeah. Okay.
Because I'm competitive. I'm a Leo, man. I love, if anything I do, it's 100 or nothing. I'm balls to the wall.
What's the peptide stack that's as good as steroids or anabolics? But it's also safe.
So if I was gonna take a natural, say, athlete that maybe maybe, somebody like you, somebody that's just on TRT, but they want to up the ante, but they don't want to dabble in anabolics. Yeah. They don't want to mess with all that. Yeah. I'm going to put them on, Testosterone.
Okay.
Which is, the benefits to me of Testosterone, massive pumps in the gym. Okay. Everybody we put that on, or everyone who takes it says, holy shit, dude.
Yeah.
And it's because of a nitrogen retention, because it's a growth hormone. So nitrogen is obviously what helps with your protein, and it kind of swells the muscle up, fills it out in layman's terms. So you get massive amounts of nitrogen retention. So the Testosterone gives you super pumps. You get a ton of circulation and blood flow to the tissues. So again, that means more growth, because if you're eating, taking your other supplements, your aminos, you're shuttling all that right to the tissues when you train. So Testosterone is massive, and the beauty of Testosterone, it kills and burns off stomach fat directly in that truncal stomach area. So it targets that exactly.
Okay. Hey.
So it's not an all over. It does burn fat all over, but it literally shrinks the waist, which is insane. So I do the Testosterone, IGF-1, LR3, or DES. So I'll explain the difference on those. IGF-1, LR3. LR3s, it's just like a long ester. So it stays in the system a little bit longer. DES spikes, a couple of seconds to a couple minutes, and it's kind of in and out of your system. Really? And IGF, what people don't realize, it creates hyperplasia. These guys out here don't know what that is. It's almost like, let's say, Brandon, you had 100 muscle fibers in your bicep. Yeah. Well, it'll cut those 100 muscle fibers all in half. Now you'll have 200, but they're half the size they were. But then you create hypertrophy in the gym when you get your pump and you train. And those 200 now enlarged to the size of the original 100. Now your arms stay twice as big as it was. So over time, that's what IGF-1 does. So it's site injectable. You can put it in whatever muscle group you want to actually grow and train, and it actually works.
So you inject it into the muscle you want to train.
Exactly. So if you want your biceps bigger, you can put the IGF-1 into the biceps every time you train them, or if you want to do it in your legs, and it actually will grow that area faster. It still goes systemic all over the whole body, but it will. That's one of the drugs out there that, in my opinion, truly is a site injectable, i.e. drug, peptide, whatever you want to call it,
Okay.
And it works really good. So Testosterone, IGF, it's a newer peptide out there called follistatin. We'll probably touch on that, but I'll just say for it, basically what it does is it inhibits your myostatin. So it basically just turns off anything that slows your muscle production down. So it just makes you start instantly, in a sense, producing muscle. It's pretty cool stuff. Yeah. Very strong. Again, they're doing studies on it still, but that's kind of one of these new designer drugs. It's almost like, me versus Brandon. Yeah. Brandon's genetics as an African-American versus a white Caucasian. I'm just never going to compete. I mean, even as a bodybuilder, I mean, he can pack on. If I put him on my diet, my workout routine, all that, Brandon would be 270 pounds in no time and make Ashton Hall look tiny. You know what I mean? Dead serious. So, and again, Ashton Hall, like I said, I've seen him train in the gym. He trains. I'm not going to sit here and discount that, but he's not a bodybuilder. He's not just, his mind focus isn't just like, let's get huge. You know what I mean? He just packs muscle on naturally.
So you think,
and that's because he doesn't make as much myostatin.
Oh, so you think, so for the record, you think Ashton is natural?
Yeah, I think Ash is natural. I mean, he's got a great physique. Man. I've seen him in the gym train. He's a big dude, and he's come, he put some pre and post from a couple of years ago. It's not a drastic difference.
Bro, I've known Ashton for a long time, so maybe I'm biased, but I think he's natural.
I've coached a lot of guys in the bodybuilding realm and in the athletic world in general. I mean, I've even had golfers that we put on, hormones and stuff because they just want to get a stronger swing. Yeah. And people think that steroids you just automatically you're huge. It's not how it works. You got to put in the work. You got to put in the food. It's all the 1% add up to get the result that you want. But yeah, Ashton Hall, 100%. If he claims natural, I think he's natural, man. I'd love to see him on some gear because he would be a freak. Some gear, insane.
Some people are just like I had a friend who used to train like bodybuilders, people who were in the Olympia, and he said, "Man, there's a real genetic." There's a genetic part of it where, like he said, that some people he would put on gear and they couldn't even get their pro card on gear. Exactly. And there were some people who never did gear and they got their pro card. Now they didn't win Olympia or nothing, right? But they didn't. They naturally.
It's a genetic predisposition, ethnicity. Because look at Asians. Most Asians are just naturally short, small. It's how they live. It's how they've always trained. It's what they eat. So a lot of that plays a role over the generations. People understand that it's generations. It's not just overnight. You know what I mean? But yeah, you take that into effect and for sure. I wasn't meant to be big at all. 100%. I'm a white little skinny Caucasian. I mean, you know, at 19 years old, I was a $130 soaking wet at 5'11", 6 foot. I mean, zero muscle whatsoever. You know what I mean? I built this body on blood, sweat, tears, and anabolics. I just, it is what it is. You know, if I didn't ever take something to enhance my body, I wouldn't be the size that I am. I already know that. I trained natural for years, and I literally gained almost zero progress.
And there's another part of it though. Like some people don't understand how important diet is, you know. So a lot of times people will say 200%
diet. When people ask me that, I say it's 200%.
Yeah,
diet's to 200%. All the other shit's a negative.
Because even before I started taking testosterone, people would make videos about me saying that I wasn't natural, and I really was natural. But you've been,
and TRT, people out there, TRT, in my opinion, okay, testosterone is a synthetic drug you're injecting in your body, but it's already produced naturally. So a guy like me, I like to clear that up. When I was 19, 20 years old, my testosterone was like 75. I had no testosterone, so I couldn't get bigger. So I got put on testosterone at a young age. I tried the natural route, all that didn't really work. So again, but it just brought me up to an acceptable normal range. So like every lab's a little different, but like the range is normally 3 to 1200.
Yeah.
So again, when I was say 21 years old, they put me at 1,000 test level. So then I was actually at least able to, compete and be a normal human being. Because people don't realize if you don't have testosterone, you're going to get obese. You can get early onset diabetes. You're going to have brain fog. You're not going to be mentally sharp. So it's not just about muscle growth and things like that. It's your health. It's long-term health. Testosterone is good for you, even if you're injecting it synthetically from a lab.
A lot of people was like legit. Some sound like you was legit medicine.
It's medicine. If you don't have it versus having it, there's way more side effects.
Life is different.
Way more side effects if you don't have it. Yeah.
What I was saying was before I even went on it, people thought I was on gear, right? And I really wasn't. But what they didn't know is I keep a scale with me everywhere I go to weigh all my food. I make sure I get my number. I'm like,
I thought I was disciplined as a bodybuilder, bro. You're just crazy with it.
So it's like you couple that, like that. If anybody did, they're going to get like way better results, especially if you start doing it for a decade. Right?
Exactly.
Diet is so important. But then there is a genetic piece of it, because I remember my brother's like way older than me. He's in his 60s, and he started testosterone replacement therapy like really like a while ago. I think I was in my late 20s, maybe early 30s when he started. And he said, I don't know, man, maybe you get your testosterone tested. And I got my testosterone test. I don't remember the number, but I do remember the doctor.
They put you on TRT, it's probably right in the middle, maybe 3.
No, this is before. This is when I just got it tested.
Just had it tested.
Right. And I was in my late 20s, early 30s. And I don't remember the number they told me, but Shorty was like, she said, "Are you on something?" Yeah, the testosterone was like really high.
So you were like 12. Yeah.
It was
and we've had guys come to the clinic that are even mid 30s. And we'll draw their labs. They've definitely never been on anything. And their testosterone's 12, 1300. We're like, bro, you're literally 100 points above the normal. Now, again, they might be taking some natural supplements like DHEA. You're taking your minerals and your magnesium and B12. All those things, too, actually help you produce more testosterone. Yeah. They're essential micronutrients and minerals that can actually boost your test levels.
Especially the vitamin D or whatever.
Yeah, exactly. All your vitamins.
But imagine you take that guy and have him dialed in his diet like I was for 10 years.
Exactly.
He's gonna look like he's on roids in 10 years. You know what I'm saying? For sure.
Exactly.
Like, so the diet part of it is what people, man, people look at me, man, that's too much to track your calories. I'm like, bro, if you did that for a significant amount of time, people would think you on steroids like they did with me.
And I did it like you did for years when I competed. Yeah. Every gram was weighed out. But I will say, for the guys out there that want to look like you do, or they want to look like I do, and let's say they're on stuff, they're not on stuff, doesn't even matter. If they just want to be in shape, be lean, doesn't matter the size they are. Yeah. I mean, I call it the 80-20 rule. It's not even really 80-20. I mean, all of my meals throughout the day are kind of pre-planned. So, hop up in the morning for breakfast. People aren't going to eat what I eat, but I eat 3 chicken breasts for breakfast. I eat 4 cups of rice. That's my first meal. Second meal is literally about 100 grams of carbs in the Rice Krispies cereal, plain and not one sugar. And I do 2 scoops protein, mix it with water, eat that shit. It's fire. Yeah. Third meal before the gym, 3 more chicken breasts, 4 cups of rice.
Holy shit.
Post-workout, 1 cup of rice, another protein shake. And then usually I'll either go home and cook like a home cooked awesome meal, though. Like we're talking spaghetti, bunch of beef, whatever I want, something that tastes pretty good. Or, like I said, once a day, I'll go out to eat. I might want to go have a burger. I'm going downtown. I'm going to eat 2 triple cheeseburgers wherever I want. And that's what I go off of. Yeah. and I stay pretty damn lean because it keeps your metabolism boosted.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to stay nice and tight, but you can still enjoy your life. And like I said, you don't have to carry a scale everywhere.
You don't have to,
but you can just, you know, and let's say you don't even want to do that with me. Like, let's say you're eating out every meal. Here's the simplest thing. Everywhere you go, don't put seed oils on your food and don't do butter. You'll stay lean as hell. Order chicken breast and rice or sweet potatoes wherever you go. Trying to cut out the bread and then just tell them everywhere you go, hey, don't do oil or butter on my food. You're going to take out like 600 calories out of every meal. You know what I mean? And the seed oils cause insulin resistance, which creates diabetes, which is going to make you fat, and dementia. They got stuff on that, guys. Dementia. Any seed oil creates dementia. Now, I do a little bit of seed oil, but it's only avocado oil.
Okay.
And it's Chosen Foods brand. They have it at Publix. It's in the glass jar that's green. All the other ones they tested weren't what they said. It was like they said avocado oil is actually vegetable oil. It was rancid and had mold and shit in it. Chosen Foods was the only clean one that was in it, what it said it was. So that's the one I use. And like I said, I'll put a little bit like on my rice, salt, so it tastes good. But that's all the residual fats I'm getting. And if you do just follow that, bro, when you go out to eat, just make smart choices, you can stay lean. Yeah. It's not that hard.
Yeah. You know, listen, that's a good point. I want to take it to another level. Now, let's crank it up. You've done like legit antibiotics. You've done Tren. Can you tell me what it's like to be on Tren? Explain what it is, and then what was your experience with it?
I mean, I'm a pretty cool, calm, collected, chill dude. Always been super chill. Yeah. And just like they say, turns you into a whole different person. Really? You know what I mean? It will, you know, whatever's there, it amplifies it. So me, like, I'm really cool, calm, and collected, but the flip side of that for me is lots of anxiety and irritability. Not like anger. You know, a lot of people get angry and they hurt people. For me, it was just because I'm so chill. When I'm not chill, it's like anxious and irritable. So, dude, if I was taking Tren, yeah, I'm just constantly irritable. Everything pisses me off, but not like an angry pissed off, just an irritable, just like, this shit's annoying. I want to get the fuck out of here. Yeah. You know, I'm not staying around this stuff. Let's get out of here. You know,
did you do anything like super crazy when you were on Tren? Like, did it cause you to make any like real bad decisions?
Yeah, probably a few. We won't get into those. I mean, nothing too crazy, but yeah, let's see. Think of one. I mean, just like everybody said, it definitely makes you yell a lot more. You know, really, I mean? You'll definitely yell at people. You'll lose you're much more short tempered, and that's what I mean by the irritability. Instead of like, you know, if you said something offensive to me, normally I'm like, okay, cool. I know who I am, my identity. Yeah, I don't give two shits. Awesome, you know. But then you're on Tren and someone says, hey, bro, you know, you look fucking skinny today or something. Yeah. You know, and I'd be like, what? You know, huh? And you just stop super quick. It literally just cuts off a part of your lobe of your brain that just, it's all rationale just goes out the window. That's the easiest way to put it. Your rationale is gone, bro. Like you said, for me, I mean, I think I've been in one fight my whole life. Yeah. And that was a fight that it was literally a dude had a knife trying to legit hurt me. Okay. You know, like, and I was defenseless. I mean, I got scars on my hand, proved I got cut a few times. Right. You know, got the knife away from him, beat his ass. But the point is, like, you know, I don't fight, and you're on that stuff. People start disrespecting you out in public, yelling at your girl, whatever it is, dude. You're ready in 0.3 seconds to go over there and just hammer someone out. You know what I mean? So it's not a good drug. I would say to everybody out there, don't touch the stuff. Don't. It's 10 times stronger than testosterone. So, like you said, if you're taking testosterone, why would you need Tren? You know what I mean? I mean, I get it. I get it. If we want to go to that, if we want to go to that crazy spectrum, yeah, it's going to make you freaking shredded. You're going to get faster results than anyone else. I mean, you're going to notice the difference day to day. You start taking Tren, yeah, you're going to look up and go, damn, my abs are getting more apparent every day. Dude, veins get more vascular. But at what cost? Like you said, cholesterol's getting crazy high, blood pressure's through the roof. You're yelling at your girl. I mean, you know, it's just not good stuff. It's not worth it. There's plenty of other anabolic drugs that can get almost the same results without the negative side effects.
You know, that make you saying that it make it.
And it doesn't take a high dose either. I mean, I know some of these bodybuilders, you know, that I've even coached and other coaches coach, and they're doing 1,000 milligrams of Tren before a show, and I'm like, dude, if you put me on 1,000 milligrams of Tren, I'd probably be having sex and be pissed off while I'm having sex. And then when I get done, just want to go jump off the building. Like, I just want to kill myself. Like, I don't know how someone would handle that shit. I mean, there's no way. I mean, I've just done like 100 or 200 milligrams before. And 3-4 weeks in, you're like, this ain't right. I don't feel
You
right.
don't feel right.
I just don't feel right. I don't feel like myself. I'm just irritable and mad. And I'll get in bed at night and I'm thinking about all these people that I just want to hurt. I'm like, this is not good.
Oh, it turns you into a little demon. That sounds like
it is. That's a good nickname for it right there. It's definitely devil's juice
syrup right there.
Yeah.
You know, like that explains some of the behavior I've seen.
Oh, I'm sure you've run across some people that are probably on it. Yeah, yeah.
You know,
like, yep, that's the trend juice right there. Yeah, that's the devil's juice. Oh, that's why he's acting like that.
That's Satan syrup. He's injecting over there. That's a Satan syrup. You know, that makes a lot of sense, man. What would somebody do if they wanted to do something like a peptide, maybe that would have similar effects, but not the same side effects? Is it one peptide they could take, or would they have some sort of stack? Or?
I mean, yeah, I always recommend the stacks. Just like I was even saying with anabolics, like 1,000 milligrams of test is stupid. Why not do 2 or 3?
Let's say we want similar effects of trend.
Like physically, you want to look like you're on trend, but you don't want to hurt people.
I don't want to hurt nobody.
Your girl's gonna go, oh, hey, babe, yeah, you're home from work or whatever. Yeah, just like normal, feeling good. Yeah. Go out to dinner. You're hanging with the friends. No one knows any different.
Yeah. Don't want to show.
I mean, probably based on that, with the research, the science, things I've done personally, I would have to say my favorite stack, probably, like I said, testosterone is your base always. TRT. Okay. That's going to help you with your, mental clarity, libido, sex drive, just normal day to day. Masteron is a really good one.
Masteron.
That's obviously a street name. Most people aren't going to know any of the chemical names, but yeah, Masteron is they developed it for like breast cancer and things like that. But the beauty of that is, remember I told you about anastrozole or Remedexor, how it damages cortical bone. It does lower your estrogen, but it's got a lot of negative side effects. For me personally, I'd rather take a little bit of Masteron because it's a hardener drug. It tightens you up.
Okay.
So it's going to lean you out a lot. You can take Masteron and it almost takes a place of your anastrozole. It'll keep your estrogen levels down and in check. So now you're getting, 2 birds in one stone. It's like, okay, well, now I'm not having to take anastrozole, which has got more negative side effects on like cholesterol and things like that. I mean, Masteron has some on the cholesterol, but it's like I'm getting muscle building and I'm getting leaner off of it. So yeah, like testosterone, Masteron. A lot of people like Primobolan. I'm not a fan of it.
What is that?
It was Arnold's favorite drug. Arnold's favorite drug back in the day, he did testosterone, D-ball, and Primo. That's what he cycled for all his shows.
I don't know.
So Dianabol is like an oral anabolic steroid.
Okay.
It's pretty strong. So there's an anabolic side of steroids and an androgenic. So anabolic is like how much muscle mass it puts on. Androgenic is almost like the side effects of it.
Okay.
So like D-ball is a really big anabolic, but it's also a really big androgenic. So it'll jack up your estrogen levels, make your nipples tender and swollen. You get a lot of side effects from it. So it's one of those drugs that if you're going to do like D-ball, it's a short-lived thing. 2 to 4 weeks, you got to get off that stuff.
Really?
I mean,
it's like that.
You don't have to, but if you're smart,
if you don't want to
have a lot of the negative side effects, you can put on. It makes you retain a lot of water weight too. So it's going to really fill you out. So yeah, I mean, I've seen guys taking 50 milligrams of D-ball for 8 weeks and they'll put on 25 pounds. You know what I mean?
Really?
Like I said, some of it's water, some of it's muscle, some of it's fat, but it's a pretty strong steroid. But yeah, my favorite, like I said, going back, that's something that's just going to keep me nice, tight, and hard.
I thought we were going to stay away from anabolics and do just peptides because they were safer.
They are.
You think D-ball is a peptide?
No, D-ball is an anabolic. You were just asking me. You were asking me about the stack if you wanted to do something similar to Tren, but less health. More healthy.
Okay.
In the anabolic world, yeah.
So D-ball is more healthy than Tren. Is what you're saying?
Yes, in a different way.
Okay.
But what I'm saying is like you kind of more asked me like if I wasn't doing Tren, but I wanted to do a stack to put on max effects, but it still be anabolics. Yeah, it's going to be the testosterone, the Masteron, and then I would do equipoise or EQ. So EQ, how it works, it's going to cause your bone marrow produce more red blood cells. So kind of like cyclists inject EPO, and then they got a lot more red blood cells, so they have more oxygenation, so they can cycle a lot further, a lot harder, a lot stronger. EQ is the bodybuilding world of that.
Really?
So
it's like blood doping.
Exactly. It's like blood doping, but it's indirect. So you take EQ and your bone marrow is going to start producing more red blood cells.
What?
Now, number one, that's dangerous because if your hematocrit and your hemoglobin get too high, it can cause high blood pressure, heart attack, strokes. But flip side, anabolically, sick, massive pumps. Because you think you got more blood and more oxygen to your tissues, like fivefold. So it's one of my favorite drugs, again, if used properly.
Okay.
You know what I mean? You could use that properly. Again, I'm not condoning anyone out there to take any of this stuff. This is not medical.
Yeah,
none of this is medical advice.
Yeah, it's two guys talking about
exactly.
anabolics.
But yeah, so, testosterone, Masteron, EQ, that right there would be a pretty killer stack if someone took that. As far as putting on a lot of muscle, not gaining a lot of water, and you're going to stay true to how you look, but put on a nice amount of muscle tissue with negative side effects, in my opinion.
Okay. Is there is there a way you could do it with just peptides?
100%.
Well, what peptides would you take to accomplish it?
So if I wanted to kind of get as close as I could to that, like I said, I'd throw Testosterone in. The IGF-1 LR3, because you're going to split the muscle tissue and double in size. Do the follistatin, because then it's not, it's a myostatin inhibitor, which that means myo means muscle, statin obviously means like stagnant. So it's going to create just that constant muscle growth. Yeah. So it's going to pretty much stop your body from limiting how much muscle you can put on. Okay. So yeah, you put follistatin, Testosterone, and IGF together, just those three right there, crazy stack. Really? And if you really want to get wild, add in some Somorelin. So Somorlin's a growth hormone secretagogue, but it also increases your appetites, and you're going to want to eat more. And then if you want to throw in one more, you could do the CJC 1295 and Ipamorelin blend, which I've done all these together at once. But again, you have to take them at different times of the day. And I will tell you, it's going to make you tired. You're going to want to take naps. No, really? You're not working a 9 to 5 taking these peptides, I'll tell you. You'll be sitting in the chair going, you done. Is that effective all peptides or just all these that I'm mentioning, other than like the follistatin, are like growth hormone secretagogues. So they're going to secrete your growth hormone. Growth hormone makes you tired. Oh, even testosterone. Yep. Oh, wow. Yep. So like for me, and again, not medical advice, but I'll tell you like how I would take mine. Yeah. I would get up in the morning and take my Somorelin first thing, because that's going to increase my appetite all day. It's going to make me hungry. So I want to eat more food to bulk. Around lunch, I'm probably going to hit my follistatin as my second one. Before the gym, I'm going to hit my Testosterone, because that's what gives you sick pumps in the gym. Before the gym. And then right after the gym, I'm going to hit my IGF-1, because you're going to eat a big meal. That's going to help you. So IGF-1, I didn't mention earlier. So Testosterone doesn't make you tired if you're taking it before the gym, right? Or am I tripping? It still has that component of growth hormone. So like if you just sit down and get relaxed, you're going to get tired. Really? But no, I mean, for me, I notice it on the drive to the gym. I'll get a little tired and feel nice and relaxed. Once you get going, you're fine. You're not okay. So it's not like unison. It's not like that. It's not like a sleep drug. But it's just because when you release growth hormone, it makes you relax. And then the IGF-1 is going to be after the gym, because it affects blood sugar. So you're going to eat, it's going to lower your blood sugar. Boom, insulin effects, growth hormone. You're shuttling your food in right after the gym. Maximum amount of muscle growth, because you're feeding the broken down muscle tissue. That's intense. And would that be the stack with the least amount of side effects? Correct. And then the last one before bed, do the CJC 1295 Ipamorelin. To me, that's kind of just the overall big boy of anti-aging, sleep, recovery. You take that one before bed. You'll sleep good, recover good. It's a blend. So it's 2 different peptides. Okay. So, so that's a pretty hefty stack right there. Just that alone going to make now let's say, and it's legal. And it's legal. So the anabolics aren't legal. Yeah, I mean, peptides are kind of in that realm of what's called a nutraceutical. You know what I mean? So that's. I don't know what that meant. It's almost like a doctor recommended supplement per se. Got it. So like you can order your black market peptides online, and they're all for research use only. They say not for human consumption. Like how SARMs was back in the day. Exactly. Yeah. But now too, because the compounding pharmacies, the FDA outlawed the compounding pharmacies to make them and get actual peptides as a true prescription. Now, not all of them. You can still get some, especially in Florida. There's more lax. I think you can still get IGF. Yeah. You can get BPC by itself from some of the compounding pharmacies. But let's say some of the other ones I mentioned that you may not can get. Some clinics are still able to sell those, or like you said, you can sell them as a physician use only peptide, where it's kind of a gray. I don't say a gray area. It's just not a full prescription. Because it's not coming from the compounding pharmacy, but everything's still put together in the U.S. and you sell it almost like a doctor recommended supplement. Is kind of how it's worded. Because you got to play on words. You got to follow the rules. You got to color inside the lines if you're if you're these clinics. Because you don't want to get in trouble. But so there's kind of two different realms right now, and it's all fluid. They keep changing it.
Okay. When we get back, we're going to take a break. We're going to do the market update. We're going to bring my boy Young Candlestick to talk about the market and some of this money making we're doing. But when we get back, I want to talk about the difference between peptides and SARMs and some of these other stuff. That's like a cliffhanger for these guys. We're going to get back into Let's just get the market update going.
All right.
Yo, Young Candlestick, what up, homie?
What's up, Brandon? What's up, Dr. Russ? Good to see you.
What's going on?
Well, much like none of this is medical advice, none of this is financial advice.
Yeah.
We'll be breaking down a lot of different stocks, a lot of different sectors, and I'll be up and out of here because I want to get back to this conversation.
Pretty interesting today, huh?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, definitely. So when we're looking at the market, when we look at the fear and greed index, this is a measure of sentiment. So right now, the sentiment in the market is greed. Investors are kind of driving up the market. It's kind of been on this slow grind up ever since early April. And so right now, the market's just going through its summer doldrums. But because the greed is driving the market, there could be a little bit of a sell-off. Even right now, the futures markets, because the markets trade around in the after hours, the futures markets are down about 1%.
It took a fucking dump. The NQ took a dump, right?
Oh, yeah, definitely. So basically, expect stocks to open up down tomorrow. I do expect support to potentially hold. So SPY, that's 595. On an oversold dip, I do think that it does recover and we can see all-time highs within the next few weeks or months. But just monitor it day by day. The SPY is kind of a tough read. The NASDAQ doing just fine. If we take a look at Apple is kind of weak. I do have some bearish positions on Apple. So I do expect further downside on Apple, maybe not like a crash, but sideways to slightly lower prices is my forecast for Apple, targeting that $180 per share. We talked about Tesla. Last time I was on the podcast, I said you can wait for a bounce to short it at 330. That's
exactly what you said. Go run back the tape at 330.
Come check it out. And basically, Tesla, it's selling off. So we'll see what happens to Tesla. I do think that it maybe could test 280 or lower if this sell-off continues. If Tesla gets back above 330, that would be bullish. Okay, Microsoft?
Motherfucking Elon, he waved the white flag. He's cool with Trump now. He waved the white flag.
Instagram post, right?
Yeah, he like Elon Musk, the J. Cole of politics. Like he started a battle and then quit.
Yeah,
he's just like J. Cole, man.
He realized the ramifications of his
Kiss the ring, bitch. What's up? Well, let's keep going. If y'all have questions, stock or investment questions for Young Candlestick, man, we'll read it on if it's a super chat.
Yeah.
All right.
Send some super chats. Microsoft's still strong. We talked about
Come
that.
on, Microsoft. Tell them when we recommended Microsoft, when we were saying about Microsoft.
We just said, hey, I'm buying a lot of Microsoft down here. It's kind of scary down at this 360 level. It's kind of scary. 360, 380. That wasn't the exact bottom, but it was pretty close. And Microsoft up 35%.
Come on.
We were DMing each other on Instagram. We're like, I like Microsoft. I like Microsoft.
Yeah. And we said it on the pod too, man. All you got to do is listen to us and do what we do. You'll make money.
Definitely. And, if you're interested in getting involved in something like quantum computing, I do like Google longer term. Short term, though, I think Google probably goes sideways. It probably trades in a range of 160 to 180 for a few weeks or months. But if Google can break above 180, that would be bullish in the longer term. So that's Google. Okay. If we take a look at IWM, it's a leading market indicator because this is where most of the stocks live. IWM breaking down today, being a little bit more bearish. So that could be causing a bit of this chop where Some sectors are strong, some sectors are weak. So there's no like clear direction. Semiconductors were strong today. My favorite semiconductors are NVIDIA and AVGO for the long term. So NVIDIA, pretty close to all-time highs. It's not there yet. It is selling off in the after hours, but I do like NVIDIA. I like AVGO, Broadcom. Nancy Pelosi's long on that. So
Nancy's fucking with it?
Yep, Nancy's fucking
all right.
with it.
If Nancy's fucking with it, then I'm fucking with it. You know what
I'm
saying?
right?
She's my favorite trader.
Seriously.
She the GOAT.
I know, right? We need to study whatever she's doing.
Nah, we know exactly what she's doing. All right, let's go. I don't want to get. I don't want to say it because I don't want to get my house bombed. You know. Shout out to Nancy.
Dr. Russ is like, what did you do?
Nah, man, we don't want no beef. What are you talking about? What were you saying?
Bitcoin starting to reject its all-time highs. My forecast is probably sideways to slightly lower, but if it became oversold enough down to like 90K, I do think that can be a longer-term dip buy. Again, that's not advice. That's just where I'm kind of looking at Bitcoin. I like to trade IBIT, shares, and options to trade Bitcoin. Okay. We've been talking about silver for a while.
Same.
Silver, big breakout.
Yeah, you've been talking about silver. You couldn't shut the fuck up about silver for months, right? And now look at you. This is why. This is why. I wouldn't. You were sounding an alarm.
I know. It didn't really go anywhere for weeks. And I was just sitting on my silver calls, just waiting for the breakout. And then it eventually broke out. I do expect higher prices over the coming months and years on silver. But for now, the next best dip buy for me on silver is SLV 31. Okay, so set some price alerts there. I like that price for longer term. Gold, my forecast for the remainder of 2025 is neutral to bullish. Basically meaning if gold gets oversold, I think it's a dip buy. I don't think it's going to break out really well, but could do something.
But it's close to all-time highs right now.
It is, but I don't think that there's going to be a really big breakout just yet. I
bought a bunch of gold futures. Remember I told you I bought some gold futures contracts?
Oh, and
those shit's printed, man.
That's not the only thing that printed. Didn't you make 20 grand today trading futures?
Oh, let me. Well, I might as well show them. Can you show my? Just show my iPad.
Yeah.
So those of y'all know, in victory trades, we trade every day. Yep. You can trade with me and Greg. We trade live, and basically, what you're looking at is I don't trade with my own money. I trade futures with funded accounts, and I have 20 funded accounts. I trade with them all simultaneously. I have a trade copier, right? So. And I made $1,000 on each account. So this was a 20 grand day, man. Trading futures this morning, not bad. It's like an hour of work. If you want to trade with us, if you want to trade with Greg and I in the morning, because I was calling out my trades.
Oh yeah, you're like, I got the buy orders right here. 21,000. Boom.
Just join. We teach you how to do it. We teach you how to get funded accounts. And you can trade with us. So because you got to pass the evaluation to get your account funded. But we've helped a lot of Victory Unit members do it. So hit up our Discord, go in there, talk to Greg, Young Candlestick, say, yo, I want to join Victory Unit. And he'll walk you through it. You can trade with us.
Just tell me you want to join Victory Trades. Tell me a little bit about yourself. I'll leave you a voice note and then we'll get you started. Super
let's
simple.
Go.
We're crushing it actually, really. Like, I'm trying to be super humble. Like, we had an Iron Condor today. We got some people.
Oh, yeah, because he also gets trade alerts, right? So not just trading futures in the morning. That's what we do in the morning, but throughout the day, Victory Trades members get Greg's trade alerts and options plays, man. So go ahead, tell them some of this shit.
Yeah, no, definitely. So like each and every day, I basically do an alert. Usually it's once a day. Sometimes it's twice a day. Sometimes there's no alert for the day. But the biggest edge that I have is with SPX trading. And so basically this is just SPY or ES. It's the S&P 500. But what's cool about it is it's cash settled, doesn't use day trades. And what's nice about it is you can just enter the trade and your risk is built in and your max profit is built in. And so for some reason it's taken a while to load up. Something's goofy going on.
The internet's been acting funny today. It's a matrix attack.
I know, right? The matrix is attacking us today.
Matrix attack. Oh, there we go.
Yeah, basically, we just traded an Iron Condor today where if it's above this level and beneath this level, make plus $200. If it starts to go outside the range or close outside that range, minus 300. So why would I risk $300 to make $200? because there's a higher probability of profit that I'm going to make that $200. So this basically just represents, we do these like pretty much every day, every other day.
Pretty much, man. Yeah, we had, and you've been crushing it with those calls,
and
man.
I mean, you can see some of the stats here. I mean, this is the stats for May, 27 out of 29, 27 for 29 on the trades. For June, we have some really, really good trades. Check it out.
Man.
Stats speak for themselves. And
they know what it, man. Either they gonna listen or they not, man. What are the stocks you got? I got some. What? I got some questions about some stocks, but you got a super chat, Greg.
Let's check it out.
All right, yo. While you looking at those, I'm gonna urinate.
Yeah,
all right, you got this.
All right, Marquez is asking about thoughts on TTWO and Bros. So TTWO, that's Take-Two Interactive. This is the GTA stock. So everybody's wondering, when's GTA going to be coming out? So far, what I'm looking at on this chart, it's a nice uptrend. The graph goes from the bottom left to the top right. Generally, you want to be investing or buying or swing trading stocks that are in uptrends because investors are committing capital to the stock. And when a stock makes all-time highs, every single investor that bought it before it made all-time highs is rewarded. So trends tend to continue until and unless acted upon by another force. So this looks bullish. Short term, we're up a few days in a row. So that just means we're extended. That means that buyers may have used up their buying power and prices could maybe sell a little bit, especially since the overall S&P 500 is dropping. TTWO is probably going to be opening up red as well. So TTWO, it probably stays within a range of 220 to 240 for a while. But if it can break above and hold above 240, then we can see new all-time highs. You can always use the option chain to help you get an idea of how much a stock can move within a week. So right over here on the top right corner of the screen, the expected move is plus or minus $2.91. Let's just call it $3. That means between now and the end of the day tomorrow, TTWO is not likely going to go more than $3 higher or $3 lower. So that'd be like what? 237 to 231. Of course, it can move more than that, but 2/3 of the time it's going to move within that expected move. So that's my quick take on TTWO. I don't see any good like trade setups or buy setups. Of course, you can just buy all-time highs. That's fine. But just set some price alerts, let it digest, let it consolidate for a bit. Let's check out Dutch Brothers, the competitor of Starbucks. So Dutch Bros, if it'll load up, something's going on. The Matrix is attacking you guys. Something's going on.
They don't want y'all to win.
I know, right? All right, Dutch Brothers. Kind of a messy chart. I'm looking firstly at this like uptrend right here. So you can see this channel, connect your low points. We got our high points right here. So I have to expect that this channel will hold until and unless it breaks. It could break down underneath this 69.60 level. Okay. But other than that, I don't see any like buy setups or good long setups. Maybe there's a tiny little buy setup on the trend line break. On balance volume just looks neutral, basically saying it's probably just going to chop around in a range. Volume is pretty low, which tells us, hey, not a lot of investors are watching this. It's not a thickly traded stock. Not a lot of people are really interested in Dutch Brothers. So once you start to see volume come in, that's where you can start to get involved with Dutch Brothers. Those are my quick takes. Thanks for the super chat, Marquez.
All right. Yo, what I wanted to ask you about was I had Berkshire Hathaway.
Yeah, let's check it out.
Because
it's kind of nearing that support, right?
What?
It's nearing a support level.
Yeah, this is exactly where I think where I would buy. Like, but I usually run my trades past you, but it looks exactly where I would buy.
So based off candlestick structure, this is called a bullish piercing pattern. So basically yesterday kind of having a bearish day. Today we gap down and then rip up, close near the high. That in and of itself, just off candlestick structure, is a buy. You'd buy over 490. Stop loss goes underneath today's low, which would be 484. It looks okay. I think there are some better setups. especially since the market's gapping down tomorrow. You might want to wait for some further selling.
Might want to wait a little bit.
Just a little bit. It is one of those things where set some price alerts if it breaks above 490, because look, it's going to be gapping down tomorrow. So if it gaps down tomorrow and then breaks the resistance, it's a better resistance break. So set some price alerts at 490. It's not so much a trading stock. It's more of a stock you dollar cost average into or just buy and hold.
All right. CrowdStrike.
Oh, we made some good money off of CrowdStrike. Thanks to you, Brandon. Thanks to you.
I called out the high base.
Yep. Brandon called out this setup. So basically we had an impulse wave up and then we had an impulse wave up and then we vibrated right here.
Yeah, we did.
Price
vibrate, man. The vibes. I felt the vibe. I felt the vibes, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We were gooning with CrowdStrike, and basically we bought this breakout right over 440.
Use the bathroom in the front. That's what it is.
And I noted that on one of the podcasts, you can buy a dip at 440. That happened to be the exact low. CrowdStrike is knocking on the door of those all-time highs. It is going to be gapping down with the market tomorrow. But if CrowdStrike can hold hourly or 4 hours or daily above 480, you can probably see more all-time highs. I'm bullish long-term. It just comes down to pick your prices that you want to enter at.
All right. How long we have? Oh, whatever, man. 5 minutes, a couple minutes. You got to bounce?
Yeah, I was going to pee real quick.
Huh?
I was going to go to the bathroom too.
Oh, yeah. Go to the one in the front. Yeah. All right. Sorry about that. Ask Yara.
I was talking earlier about gold and silver. It's important to remember that the dollar is inverse to gold and silver. So the dollar is breaking down right now. Your purchasing power, if you're a United States citizen, is losing value. Cash in the bank is losing value. You've got to start making some money moves, whether that be in a business, stocks, real estate, anything that can hold its value or appreciate in value. Because right now the dollar is dropping, and that's putting upwards pressure on the metals, gold and silver. So that's just kind of how those intermarkets are correlated. One last thing that I want to leave you guys with is uranium, URA. So this is the uranium ETF. This is starting to break out on the monthly time frame too. So uranium could have multiple months of upside. On balance volume is confirming it. That just accumulates the up volume and the down volume, basically saying buyers are committing to uranium right now. So as long as URA can hold above 34, I think it can see 60, 70, 80 in the next few years. We need to crack nuclear energy if we're going to keep spamming ChatGPT all day, right?
Yeah.
So
Because I hit that motherfucker up all day.
I know, right? That's all I have.
I use it. I use this motherfucker instead of a calculator.
I know.
I just open up the ChatGPT chat and it just, yo, man, what's this times this?
We're using it for meditation practices in victory training.
Yo, that was crazy, man. That was crazy. It was before victory. He did a little he added. What was the prompt you said?
Oh, I was like, give me a quick 1 minute meditation guide to, boost trading performance. And she did a good job.
She did a real good job, man.
Yeah,
I liked it. All right, man. Yo, listen, guys, if you want to learn more about stocks, if you want to get Greg's trade alerts, and if you want to trade with us every morning when the market open, you see, man, today I made
seriously,
I made 20 grand. 20 grand trading this morning, bro. That's just
playing a video game. You crushed it.
It was pretty intense. Yeah. Word. Y'all want to learn more about that
as well?
What do you think?
We teach the strategy that you use. We got a nice PDF, and you can ask us questions live as well.
Yeah. And I call out where where I got my buy orders. You know what it is.
Cool.
If you want to do that, join. Go to our Discord. Hit up Greg, Young Candlestick in there. Say you want to join Victory Trades, and he'll point you in the right direction. All right.
I got you.
All right.
All right. Thanks for having me on, Brandon.
Appreciate
Tell Dr. Russ I said hi.
All right, peace. All right, I think we got some super chats before we get back to the homie Dr. Russ. All right, Nima, can you do it?
Yes, of course.
Yeah.
I got you.
All right.
Okay, BC, as a trader, I got so much free time. What to do?
As a trader, you have so much free time. What to do?
Okay.
I don't know if I understand that question. And like,
I think
because he just trades. What should he do?
Yeah.
Yo, find another way to make money, man. Like the people I know who make the most money trading, none of them only trade. And I think there's a psychological part to that because there's less fear and there's less fear, and so it's not as important, if that makes sense. You know, because they're making money off other shit in other ways, right? So they can be more logical, right? Because even today, man, it would be too much stress if my son's food and education depended on my trade and performance, right? So it's like it's extra money, even though it's a good amount of money today. It's been a good amount of money like the last few months. It's not the money I'm living off of, right? So find another way to make some money, you know, and ironically, it'll make you a better trader because you'll be able to control your emotions better. What else we got?
All right, let's pull the next one. Yo, Nima, Leonardo's asking, bro, you gotta hurry up with the Thot repellent. Thoughts are coming at me stronger every day. They know when you got it figured out. Okay.
All right, man. Yup. That's
for
real
real.
shit. Yeah. Listen, that's real shit, man. Shout out to you. Thanks for the contribution to the Thot.
I got you, Leo. I got you.
And then we got another one.
Okay.
Who this?
Thank you,
Go for
Nima.
You got it.
We have Aaron. Hi, doctor. Oh, this is for our guest.
Just for you, man. All right.
I'm 6'3", 290 pounds at 27% body fat DEXA with 210 pounds lean mass, cutting to 240 at 12%. Any advice on reducing loose skin as I lose weight?
100%. So, as I was talking about earlier, in my opinion, the Testosterone does that best.
Really?
I mean, obviously, as you lose weight, your body's natural collagen will tighten up. So when I did bodybuilding shows, I did every little 1% I could to just make sure the skin was tight as I lost the body fat, like he's talking about. Yeah. So, I mean, you know, your omegas, your fish oils, things like that, those definitely help. You know, and what I would do the last 4 weeks for a show, which in his case, if he's wanting to get rid of some of the loose skin, kind of follow something similar, you know, go to more of a fish diet and rice.
Really? Fish helps that?
Yeah, because you got to think if you're eating red meat and chicken, mainly red meat and stuff like that, it's heavier on the body. It's got more fat content. You're going to put more of a layer on the skin. You're not going to look as tight. So like bodybuilders, 4 weeks out in the show, most of them we switch straight to literally rice and fish, bro.
Really? I never heard that. I mean,
that's what I do, and it works for me. I mean, I was more peeled than I'd ever been, and I throw my fish oils in, my omegas, and that helps tighten the skin up. You know, and then if you throw that Testosterone, it really, really does the trick.
You know, it's funny there was a time where I was like a fitness model. I did modeling. I was with a big agency in New York, and one summer, man, I don't remember exactly why I did this, but I ate the only protein was fish. I ate fish and like green vegetables.
Crazy, bro. Yeah, fish and veggies. You're shredded.
This was before I was keto, right? It was just I needed to be as lean as possible, right, for the whole summer. And yo, not only was I super lean, my skin was super clear. Like I looked just fish and green.
I think if you get naturally caught fish out of the sea, and not the farm raised shit. Like you said, it's not like chicken, dude. All of our chicken, most of our meat, it's riddled with heavy metals, toxins, hormones. So yeah, to me, fish is that alternative. Like you said, skin's going to be super clear, skin thinner and tighter. You're going to look younger. So yeah, man, that's huge.
So theoretically, that would help with like a lot, not just loose skin.
Oh, it help with a ton of stuff. Energy levels, anti-aging. Like you said, I would do a mix between like cod and salmon. Those are my top two.
Yeah,
and make sure it's wild caught. Don't get any of this farm raised, because the farm raised stuff. I mean, you got to think they're throwing feed in the water. It's dirty. You know, they don't put on the muscle they should. There's a lot of toxins and things like that in the fish because they're being raised on a farm. versus naturally. They're not eating natural stuff, either. So it almost puts you back in that loop of kind of like chicken. Well, what are they feeding the chicken? Chicken feed and all this bullshit, inject them with antibiotics. And then, when they kill them, they're stressed out and they're releasing all that cortisol into the bloodstream, and then you're eating all that.
Cortisol.
Exactly. So the wild caught stuff is the best.
All right. Okay. Let's switch gears. A lot of times people will hit me up and they'll say they want to learn how to, they'll ask me, how do I burn fat and build muscle
at the same time?
And I usually tell them, you might want to pick one and, and alternate, right?
Because there's very few people in the world that can really do that. Yeah, and it's very difficult.
Especially if you're natural.
Yeah.
Is there a way to do that
with the peptides?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I think you can definitely enhance that.
Oh, so this sounds like the holy grail. What is the, what would,
if you're really wanting to, if you want to lose body fat and put muscle at the same time, I mean, the best way to really kind of like a BMI, but of your muscle tissue.
Right,
yeah.
Right.
So it's like, okay, based on your body weight, your activity level, if you're just whatever you're doing for your job, let's say you're just working at McDonald's and you're walking around McDonald's all day, you need to calculate burns out the day. Your basal metabolic rate.
Yeah.
Today.
Right.
So you got to at least eat 2,300 to maintain.
Right.
And if you're natural, you got to eat a little more, or you're still going to probably lose muscle if you're not training. You know what I mean? So then we would take those calculations. We would throw in obviously the peptide stack, and then we'd up that. Say,
what peptide stack? Tell me, just start.
So if we want to put the muscle on stay lean, probably that one I said earlier, Testosterone, the IGF-1,
okay,
and the follistatin. Just those three. And then if you really want to get crazy, like I said, throw in the CJC.
What's CJC?
And the Samorlin.
Oh, okay.
Those for the appetite. But
as well, basically.
I mean, I don't think you're going to need the Ozempic in this case.
Okay.
Because if you're trying to put the muscle on, in my opinion, the Ozempic is going to suppress the appetite a little too much. It can be hard to eat.
Got it.
But like you said, on other peptides, you're not going to overeat, because if we're training, we got our basal metabolic rate measured out, and you're kind of doing what you do, measuring your shit out.
Yeah.
You're going to be so on point that you're going to be, it's going to be
you
crazy.
You have to be on point with your diet.
Yeah.
This, right.
But what I say is I increase things like 10 to 20%. So it's going to be difficult to measure the results. So morning, watching how your weight fluctuates, things of that nature. But yeah, so we get that 20% on your total calories. 2 weeks, see where your weight is, do a caliper test and check your body fat on your body, see if that's changing, and then you just make adjustments from there. But I would say, almost increasing it in 10 to 20% until you get to that threshold. Now starting to not look as lean, and then you get 5-10%. How you're going to find that big sweet spot to continue to put muscle on, burn body, and stay in the shape you want to be in, and continue to pack on muscle.
Now, okay, give me the stack again. What would it be?
Testosterone, the IGF-1, follistatin,
and that's a myostatin, right?
Yeah, that's the myostatin inhibitor.
Yeah.
Yep. So
okay, let's talk about, because you were talking to me about that. You showed me the study.
Yeah, if you want to put the study up for everybody.
First of all, the myostatin, what does it do?
So basically, let's look at the thing here. So
okay, so here's the study.
Yeah, those right here. I'm reading off of it too a little bit, saying that if you two things that the follistatin peptide has, it's myostatin inhibitor, and then where did that go?
Because this is done on obese mice, fat ass
exactly.
mice, and non-human primates.
Yeah, like you've got your activin A, and then like your myo. So those are the two things that we don't want to get scientific. Basically,
we don't have to read it.
Yeah,
they can read it
basically the myostatin is what blocks you from building muscle. So follistatin peptide is a myostatin inhibitor. So it inhibits you, or it basically doesn't allow the body to make the myostatin. So then you eating any protein. It's just constantly building muscle. That's where these genetic freak guys come in.
Yeah.
They literally, their body doesn't produce hardly any myostatin. So they just have uncontrolled growth. They can go in the gym and train and almost not eat, and they still put on muscle. And you're like, how the hell is this guy putting on 10 pounds of muscle in 3 months? And I'm eating more than he does. I'm training harder than he is, and I'm on anabolics, and he's still growing faster. Myostatin.
Wow.
It's not producing any myostatin and activin A. So again, it's just a cyclic system in the body. And so the follistatin peptide, that's what it does. It blocks those. So then you can just sit there and just boom, 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 boom. You're just pumping out muscle all day long. It's just building muscle like on top of muscle.
Because I remember there was these cows that came off. These cows that were on myostatin inhibitors.
Yeah, they throw them on those myostatin inhibitors, bro, to beef them up. And they put the trim pellets in their ears. And
did they really put trim pellets in their ears?
Yeah, that's what you do with cattle. Yeah, you put trim pellets in their ears from the
so this
farmers markets.
These motherfuckers.
Dude, I'm from Alabama, bro. We used to do this shit.
Oh, these motherfuckers. These cows weren't even working out. They weren't hitting the gym. They just started to get
exactly.
And that's female cows.
Mm-hmm.
Right, all cows are. But you know what I'm saying? These are females.
I got you. Yeah.
And look at these motherfuckers.
Yeah, they're beasts, bro.
So this cow.
They're getting trim pellets in the ears and probably some sort of myostatin inhibitor that I don't really know.
They gene edited these cows without myostatin.
Exactly. So like you said, they sit there and eat a meal and they'll put on. Let's just throw a
trim pellet. This is all it says what they were
just so basically someone with myostatin, someone with looks like Jay Cup. Hard, but it's like, bro,
and it went out
me and you could same thing our whole life. We're not going to look like them still. So they have a lot less myostatin.
Wow. Well, yeah, these are not bulls. These are cows, right?
Yeah, those are females.
These are females. That's crazy. That's crazy. All right, so that when a human takes one of these SARMs that. I'm not SARMs. The peptide,
like the follistatin.
Yeah, follistatin. It has similar effects or the same effect or what?
Exactly. So again, they did it on mice. I guess they're
they're
probably in the process of doing it on, human trials and things like that. But again, I take this stuff and I tell you,
this said it was done on mice and non-human primates.
Yeah, exactly.
So like monkeys,
exactly, monkeys, things like that. Mm-hmm. They're probably not doing human trials, but again, obviously, I'm a human trial.
You a human trial.
I take it, and it definitely is putting more density on me, and I don't have to eat as much because I hate it. I'm almost 40 years old. Dude, I did my bodybuilding world of eating 7-8 meals a day. I'll tell you, I mean, dude, right now, like I said, I told you what I eat in a day.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a good day. That's happening, though, maybe 3 times a week, to be honest with you. Most days, I'm eating 3 big meals. The chicken breast twice, and I'll probably do the 2 protein shakes. One of them might not even be the Rice Krispies. So, and I'm still packing on, muscle.
What's the name of that? That peptide that inhibits myostatin?
So it's called follistatin. Yep.
Wow.
Yep. So it's like activin A and myostatin. It hits those.
So the stack,
and there's a whole big complex, obviously biochemical system we could get into that does that. But if they really want to know all that, they can read the article. Follistatin.
Okay, so the stack would be: I want to build muscle and burn fat at the same time. Testosterone, follistatin, IGF-1. What else?
And then the CJC 1295 ipamorelin and the Samorelin. So again, and I'll tell you what I do. Again, not medical advice, but this is what I do.
Yeah.
Because again, you want to. The key to that too is putting them at the right times of the day, so you get maximum muscle growth, maximum fat loss, maximum anti-aging results. So this isn't. I do these stacks not just to put muscle on. I want to live fucking forever. That's the whole name of the game, right? I want to feel 25 when I'm 60.
Right.
And I want to look that. Obviously, I can look young if I shave my whole beard off like you do.
Right.
But I want to look a little more distinguished and have the salt and pepper and look a little older because, I still feel like I'm still young. But yeah, so morning time, Samorelin, right when you get up. That's what I do because it's going to increase the appetite. So you're going to want to eat more food.
Okay.
Like I said, before gym or at lunchtime, we'll do the follistatin.
Okay.
Depends on what time of the day you train. After work, 6, 7 p.m. Samorelin. I take my lunch. Yeah, because you get crazy pumps.
Some people were saying you should take it at
Some
night.
people do it before bed. That's bullshit. Because you got to think, well, it is if you're doing all the other stacks. That's just a standalone.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then IGA after you train.
Okay.
And again, we're not talking anti-aging here. We're really, this is more bodybuilding protocol.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Yeah. If you want to take it medically, yeah, probably just test more than before bed. You know what I mean? And then, like I said,
They take it on an empty stomach. Somebody was telling me they take it on an
you
empty
want to
stomach.
take peptides away from food because growth hormone and insulin are like antagonists. They go against each other. But again, building world, you take them together if you really want to grow. So, like for instance, let's say I was taking insulin, because I could take exogenous insulin, and insulin is the most anabolic agent in the world. You know what I mean? You take insulin and it's shuttling whatever's in your body and glucose and food directly to the muscle tissue. So, like for me, let's say I'm taking an insulin. If I'm doing insulin and growth hormone, well, I'm going to probably take my growth hormone, like you said, 20, 30 minutes before I walk out the door gym, and I'm going to hit my insulin. If it's a short acting one, like right when I get to the gym, 10 minutes before I train, and then boom, they're pumping together. You're getting massive pumps, shuttling everything to the tissues. You're going to grow big time. Again, don't recommend that because insulin's very dangerous. You take the wrong amount, you go into a coma and you're toast. But someone, if they're diabetic, let's say someone is diabetic and they take it anyways, the way the doctors tell you to take it is just keep your blood sugar. You could definitely utilize it in a bodybuilding realm and take it at certain times that definitely maximize muscle growth and fat loss too. But getting off track. So after the gym,
but it's indiscriminately anabolic, right? That's why.
That's what I'm saying. Oh, 100%. Insulin is the most anabolic agent on the world because you immediately shuttle food to the muscle tissue or fat storage, depending on, like I said, when you're taking it.
Yeah, and that's why, like most people with type 1 diabetics, that's why they're so skinny, right? They're typically pretty thin because they're not getting any anabolic from the muscle growth, but also they're not putting on much fat either.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So after the gym, you can do the IGF-1 with your big meal because it does lower blood sugar because it's IGF, so it works based off your insulin receptors and your growth hormone. Insulin like growth factor is really what it is. You know the name. And then, like I said, before bed, do the CJC 1295 Ipamorelin blend. To me, that's that overall anti-aging one. It's going to help with fat loss, muscle building, the collagen production, anti-aging, and biggest recovery and sleep. So it's going to help you with the sleep. Now, again, there's 1% of the population out there that they take CJC. It wires them the hell up. I've got my boy that takes it. I told him take it at night. He took it at night before bed. He's like, bro, I didn't sleep all night. I had to go back to the gym twice.
CJC, right? He's gone.
The CJC 25. But again, he was a rare case. But most people take it at night. They're fine because it can increase your heart rate for about 20, 30 minutes and then it'll calm down. Wow. Because you get kind of that flush feeling. And that's how you know it's hitting you, though, too.
That sounds like something you want to take before work.
Yeah, exactly. So you would take the CJC in the morning and then if you want to eat more food at night. So
wow.
But yeah, that's kind of how I do my stack if I'm doing all those to bulk up and lean out at the same time.
So with that stack, they can essentially
if their food and training's right and they've never done peptides. My boy did almost a similar one. Yeah. He put on 15 pounds in about 8 weeks.
15 pounds in 8 weeks.
And he got leaner. So we know, like I said, it was muscle.
How long was he training?
And again, I'd say his name, but I didn't obviously I didn't ask but
how long was he training before that? Like, was he?
Dude, just like me. So you add that in, and again, fully all night. We just add 1 or 2. Came back like a couple weeks, dude. I love this stuff. What else you got? And next thing you know, I'm like, look, let's just build you a full stack. And now he's on 4 or 5 of them at a time, and he put on 15 pounds like it was nothing.
15 pounds of muscle in how long?
It was about 8 weeks.
That's fucking crazy.
And lost body fat. His abs were more visible. Everything. His arms grew. Oh, he looked to him now. He comes to me.
That's crazy.
He buys a full. Like he did never stop. He's obsessed. He's like, this shit's awesome. I feel younger, energy, more clarity. And then obviously the big benefits is he's putting muscle on at the same time. So he's getting all the worlds. Okay. That's what I'm saying. Like anabolic steroids, you're not getting anti-aging effects.
Yeah.
It's pro-aging. This shit's making you look older. You know what I mean? So it's like, if you can put muscle on and reverse your aging or stop your aging, even if there's some little side effects.
What are the side effects like?
I mean, depending on which peptide, for instance, the CJC, you get a little flush, red face feeling, heart rate goes up, kind of like if you took niacin, if you ever taken niacin before. You know, it kind of gives you that, almost, or everybody's taking the pre-workout with the, what is that shit that makes you tingle?
Beta-alanine.
Yeah, like a beta-alanine. It's like that, but a lot more mild. You know, you just get a little tingle. So something like that. The only other side effects on some of the other ones we didn't even talk about them, like the melanotan that tans your skin and it gives you erections and it's for erectile dysfunction. It'll keep
really?
Too high of a dose. So
that gives you you said it gives you a tan?
Yeah, the melanotan. It's called MT2. You literally inject it. Tan. I'm saying I hardly get out in the sun. I just take just a little bit of it, like once, twice a week. Yeah. Now again, I took a whole bottle once, full dose. You know, and I had they pulled me inside and had my suit on. They were like, they thought I was like from somewhere like that. My ass and you know, wanted my passport again. I'm like, I'm American. I didn't look like it at all though, bro. It was like I was so dark, it was crazy.
Yeah, and then you find out what it's like.
Yeah,
you found out what it's like.
I got I definitely got screened. They're like, cavity check. I'll too. I'm like, oh shit. No, I don't have any drugs on me, guys.
Yo, what with the muscle building stack? What kind of? So you basically, it's gonna be different for each person.
Yeah, and the beauty is these peptides is like my go-to. If you wanted to do all at once, and that's the beauty. Like, if you wanted to get shredded up on that stack, we might tweak it a little bit, but you could take that same stack and get shredded if you calories like you do. Let's say you did keto. You're like, all right, I want to get shredded. Do a keto diet that you gave them. Write a keto diet for somebody. Have them follow that shit. Be in a little bit of a deficit. A lot of protein. Their push-ups. Peel no time. You'll put some muscle. But like you said, not as much as like me, where I'm going, hey, bro, I'm eating 500 or 600 grams of carbs a day. You're eating what, 30?
Like 50.
Yeah, you have to stay in ketosis, so you can't really go over like what 5 or 10 per meal.
I can go. I've tested my.
When everybody's different, like you got to test it. Some people get out of ketosis if they eat 5 carbs. Some people, like you might could eat 50 at once, and you stay in ketosis because your body's so used to it.
I've had like 100 net carbs in one day, and I was still in
ketosis. And that's
on blood. But
that's how you really know you're the ketogenic fucking king. When you can eat 100 grams of carbs in a day, and your blood sugar is basically not reading, and you're still keto. You're still in keto. You're still ketogenic. You're like,
I worked out a lot. I remember that day. I worked out a lot, and it was all super low glycemic carbs. Like it was
veggies and berries, like blueberries, basically.
If it was 100 grams of sugar,
or banana, you probably wouldn't.
Probably would have behaved different.
But still, you think a lot of people can't do that because their basal metabolic rate, nothing's really honed in because you're so consistent with what you do. That's why you're able to do that. Your body is so adaptable because it can adjust because it's used to the same thing.
Funny, it wasn't like that year one. So like year one, I tested my ketones every morning, every night, blood, because I was just trying to really dial it in.
Yeah, you gotta. It's experiment, bro. Yeah, you gotta play with it. You gotta watch your blood sugar. You gotta know what foods spike your blood sugar, which ones don't. Like for instance, for me, some people you can eat a sweet potato. They're like, oh, it's a low glycemic carb. It's got a lot of fiber, bro. I ate a sweet potato. It fills me out like I'm drinking a damn Coke, a real Coke with sugar in it, and it'll spike my blood sugar. But then I'll go eat a baked potato and I'll eat the skin with the fiber. Cold, blood sugar won't move a hair.
That's funny,
So you have to.
Different.
I think that comes down to kind of like the blood type diet. They talk about. I don't believe in all the different types like that, but I believe that your body does respond to different carbs based on your blood type and your ethnicity and things like that too. So for me, I've found, I don't get fat. I can eat as much jasmine rice as I want.
Really?
My body loves jasmine rice and it loves baked potatoes. So that's what I found based off testing my blood sugar. Eat a meal, test it 10 minutes, test it 30 minutes, test it 2 hours, log everything, see how your spikes in your blood sugar are, and then you'll know what you can and can't eat too. If you really want to get super OCD like you are with your scale and food, you can take that a step further and go, all right, which foods actually do I respond to and I not? If you're bulking, you want to get huge, well, shit, eat the ones that spike your blood sugar more because you're going to store that and get massive. And just,
if you want it to be as big
you want to get bulk. Yeah. Like, all right, well, if I want to bulk, real bulk, like I said, for me, I'm going to eat pizza. I'm going to eat burgers. But my carb sources, I'm going to go to a bunch of the sweet potatoes because it actually spikes my blood sugar, believe it or not, more than the other ones. And I get a good response from that to fill out.
Yeah. Once I wore a continuous glucose monitor for a month.
Yep.
And
that's how you really know. Like the twos, you stick it on, and it's apps on your phone, dude. Those are killer. Oh, I recommend anyone.
I was so dialed in, man.
And I think you can get those now even without a prescription. I'm pretty sure you can order them online, and that's a great way to test what type of foods you can and can't eat. Because a lot of these people out here can't do anything else. That really helps you know.
Man, it helps you dial it in, man.
It does.
And then I got to the point where,
and that's simple because you're just eating throughout the day, and you just look at your phone after you eat a meal and go, "Oh shit, my blood sugar just went from 80 to 140.
Yeah, maybe
I don't need to eat that. Okay, and then you check the next meal, and you're like, "Oh, I ate jasmine rice. Oh, 80 to 95. Oh, cool. Okay." In that same time frame, you're like, "Yeah, maybe I need to be eating rice."
I found out some stuff that I didn't realize. You know, I remember once I ate some pulled pork. And I was like, what the fuck? I mean, it's just all I ate was pork. I didn't know. Then I was like, oh, they make pulled pork. They have a like sauce, sugar in the sauce.
Yeah.
I didn't know that. Until I looked
that's why that pork's sweet. They marinate that shit even at the grocery store, and you can't tell because it's soaked in. And when you cook it, that's what makes it juicy.
I didn't know that until I had to continuous glucose monitor. Like, oh, because this should spike my glucose a little bit. You know,
that's why I do the no oil and no butter at restaurants. And if I'm getting steak, I say, hey, no seasoning. Or like I say no dry rub and no sauce. I just tell them to do salt and pepper.
Really?
Cook my steaks in salt and pepper. Because then you're not getting all that extra bullshit, and you stay within your calorie content, but it still tastes good. You know what I mean? I mean, you eat a good steak, bro. I want to taste the meat. I don't want all that other shit on my steak.
I had a good steak today, man. Well, listen, man, where can they find out more about you, brother?
So, I mean, you can check out my Instagram page, Dr. Russ. So it's dr.rruss. I'm the Peptide King. I've got obviously my bio. I've got both things there. We've got a full clinic. So if you wanted to get blood work done, you can go on there. You can actually make an appointment to do a consultation via phone or walk in. That clinic is in Alabama. So I'm sure most people listen to podcasts aren't in Alabama. We do phone consults, which is easy. And then if you want blood work, if you're on this East Coast, anywhere in South Florida, we can concierge send a phlebotomist to your house, to your business. They can draw the labs there. It comes back to us. We call you. One of our healthcare professionals, like our nurse practitioners or doctors, will call you, go over your program, tell you what we recommend, build it, and you can get started that way too.
Sounds good, man. Listen, awesome, man. I appreciate it, brother. Thank you so much. Listen, guys, one more thing before we get up out of here. I'm doing a live training on Wednesday where I'm going to show you how to grow your online fitness business, even if you don't have a big following, even if you're not certified, even if you don't have a lot of experience. All right. And it's going to be 100% free. It's going to be live. It's first link in the description. I'm going to answer all your questions. I'm going to stay on and answer all your questions. Every time we do this, we have a good time. It's cool. People seem to learn a lot. People seem to enjoy it. So I decided to do it again. But click the link in the description and register now. There is a limit to how many people can let in the room, because once we did it and it crashed because it was too many people, putting a limitation on how many people can join. So join now to make sure you have your spot. All right. Again, we do this every Tuesday and Thursday at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. All right.